Hello and welcome to the show. Now, I recently attended the Simply Japanese car show down in Bewley. I had ended up parked next to a rather gorgeous Mazda RX-7. Yeah, my car, a little overshadowed. And there was certainly plenty of RX-8s. Always good to see the RX-8 club here were out in force. I think they're actually probably one of the most popular, the most numerous cars around this place. And there's an RX-7 stuck in the mix over here for a good measure as well. Yeah, there were certainly plenty of them around. Now, I've talked a fair bit about wanting to own a Nissan 300ZX. I really do quite like these cars, and there were a fair few of these around the place as well. Kind of a little bit dangerous going to somewhere like this for me because, well, you see all of the vehicles that you have nowhere near enough money to own, but you want to own all of them. There are also some very impressively shiny engine bays. A lot of effort gone into preparing some of these cars. Yeah, I liked the 300ZXs. There are also, as you can imagine, a fair few Skylines about the place. A lot of them were white. It was apparently the most popular colour choice. I also love the number of vans that's up in the background. There were a lot of vans in here, around here, at least. Yeah, also White Skylines are apparently a popular thing. I would have gone for a slightly more interesting colour choice, but, you know, that's me. I like my crazy colours on vehicles, and naturally I would have to start having a look around for the most FailRace-esque car. This Skyline started off pretty well. Black car with a relatively orange engine bay. Not quite an almighty wing, but it was a fairly solid place to start. The Infinity here with, again, a rather FailRace-esque engine bay. The rest of the car, though, not quite there. These were good starts. There were a few orange vehicles about the place, mostly Nissan 350 and 370Zs. I unfortunately didn't have my camera on me when I found the very, very bright orange 370, but yeah, of all of the cars, they were the most likely to be found in the bright orange. Might as well have a look at Supra. It'd be rude not to while we were standing here, but yeah, neither of them with mighty wings. The closest I could find was this GT86. It is orange. It has the black stripes to one side. Unfortunately, it is only one stripe, but, well, it's kind of one main stripe and one smaller stripe. Pretty damn close, though. Not quite the mightiest of wings, but still, yeah, pretty damn close to a proper FailRace vehicle. Now, as far as my favourite car of the show goes, it would be a very, very difficult choice, of course. There were many glorious vehicles around the place. I particularly liked these classic Datsuns, and it is kind of a little bit of a theme with me. I do tend to like the older vehicles around here. There were so many of those lying about. This Mitsubishi GTO. Now, I'm quite a big fan of the GTOs. Again, there's another car that I've talked about that I would quite like to own. This one in particular caught my eye for, well, kind of being, well, trying to be the Hulk. It's certainly unique. It's a convertible GTO, and yeah, it's bright green. It's different, at least. As I said, it really does stand out amongst all of the other GTOs. This Nissan, not my normal sort of style of car, but I did actually really quite like it. It is a rather imposing vehicle. It doesn't have a crazy wing, but you would certainly make sure you got out of the way of it in whatever situation. I am much more a fan of the Evos than the Imprezas. There were plenty of Imprezas around the place, but the Evos were much more my thing. Again, especially the older ones, the sort of the 4, 5, and 6s, I really do quite like. The newer one, there's nothing wrong with the newer Evos per se. I was trying to spy mighty wings, but there was none down this point. But yeah, definitely the older Evos, much more for me. This one in particular, my favourite of the lot, kind of a race prepared pretty much car that we could kind of get to have a look around a little bit inside. And the big plus point, of course, a fairly mighty wing. Not the mightiest, no, but a fairly mighty wing to boot. So yeah, that Evo was right up there. However, my favourite car of the lot would be this classic Toyota Celica. There were a couple of these about the place, and yeah, I've sort of before this, I've never been a massive fan. I've just never really particularly thought about them. But the more I saw them around the place, the more I liked these cars. They are, I think, absolutely gorgeous. Now, of course, it wouldn't be me at a car show without going hunting for the craziest of wings. This Civic seemed like as good a place as any to start with. Certainly not a bad wing. We found an RX-8 with again a fairly mighty wing on the back of. This was the sort of the craziest wing that I could find on any of the RX-8. Yeah, there wasn't any sort of the really ridiculous kind of time attack wings on the back of them. This MX-5 also sporting a pretty damn mighty wing. It is pretty, well, I think it's taller than the rest of the car. So yeah, not a bad start, although they weren't quite as sort of ludicrous as I in some ways was expecting them to be. The Supras, there are a fair few Supras around the place. There was another one at a different part that someone sent me a picture of that also had an equally sort of impressively tall wing. Yeah, there wasn't quite the the pure ludicrous wings on the back of them. Still, though, it is a pretty impressive wing. Nevertheless, I also love the different ways people were finding to kind of prop up the bonnet, so all sorts of different things. This S2000 opting for a monster can. Now, I guess if it does the job, at the end of the day, so steering wheels and crash helmets and so on as well. Again, another one with a fairly impressive wing on the back of it. Not quite as tall in comparison as the MX-5's one. This was actually just sort of ahead of where I parked. I was sort of back by the hill. Might even see my car in the background. This police car styled vehicle. Again, fairly impressive way. It's interesting angles going on with this particular car. I also love the little oops sticker where thing the back of the vehicle. Yeah, a good fun vehicle, most definitely. Now, as far as the craziest of wings go, inside this sort of little showground area were three of the most spectacular. I didn't notice until I started walking down here. An interesting position for the exhaust on the back of that Silvia. That's kind of TVR levels of exhausting. Yeah, these Silvias were doing pretty well, and this MX-5 I think might have had the most scaffolding to hold up its wing. Certainly, yeah, so some impressive wing work going on there. This NSX, probably one of my favourite cars of the show as well. Not quite the tallest of wings, but kind of put it all together with the very race car style body kit. Got crazy diffuser going on at the back. A fantastic number plate as well. It is, one hell of a car. However, the mightiest of wings must go to this Nissan Micra. It is, it's a pretty damn impressive wing to find on the back of a Micra. I was not expecting to be saying that at all, but there we go. Yeah, this was one hell of an event. It was good fun wandering around here, looking at a huge variety of cars. Some really rather impressive machinery. A really rather good day out. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching, and a big thank you to all of my Patreon supporters who have helped fund all of this camera gear. I've got this was using my nice new kind of stabilizer for the GoPro for wandering around. So yeah, a little bit rusty with using it and everything, but it seems to have done the trick. So yeah, that's going to be it from me, and until next time, goodbye.